Hi, it's Greg with the Gregory Group. Thanks for joining me again. This time, we're going to do a series of videos talking about one subject. And what we're going to talk about this time is how to flip a house. This is something that a lot of people have interest in, and I know a lot of people want to do, but a lot of times when you think through it, it can feel a little bit daunting. So what we're going to try to do is break it down into its steps and make it pretty easy to understand, at least from a theoretical level. You know, when you've decided that you want to flip a house and, maybe you're out there trying to look at properties that need some work, need some rehab, there's three main numbers that you need to look for when you're trying to analyze a property. Now, the first one of these numbers is called ARV, or after repair value. Now, let's say you walk into a house, it looks like a dump, it needs new flooring, it looks terrible, it's dirty. That's not the value you're looking for. What you're looking for is what it will sell for after you've done all your work, after you fix it up, after it's nice and shiny on the market. So the way you find that number is you can, hire a realtor to help you, or maybe you can look for some other sources. But what you want to look for is the prices of comparable homes in the area that have sold recently. So best case scenario, you have homes that sold within the last 6 months, all in the same neighborhood, same square footage, and you can find ones that have been renovated to the same level that you're planning to update your house to as well. And now when you see what those homes are selling for, that's how you can get a really good idea of what yours will sell for after it's renovated. After that, you're going to need to figure out what your rehab costs are. And that's how much it's going to cost you to take it from what it is now in what I'm going to assume is pretty poor condition to that condition that's nice enough, and that condition where you calculated your after repair value based on. So this can be the trickiest part of the whole thing because there's so many variables. Let's talk, let's say on contractors, okay? If you hire a general contractor who's pretty much taking care of everything for you, they're going to go buy the materials for you, they're hiring the subcontractors, they're overseeing everything and doing most of the work, and all you're really doing is supervising, maybe checking in on a project here and there. That's going to free up a lot of your time, but at the same time, service like that is going to cost you a lot more. Now, say on the other end of the spectrum, if you're going out there buying the materials yourself, if you're spending the time on the weekends and in the evenings, you're going to go out there, you're going to do the painting yourself, you're going to do all the labor yourself, then you can get away with a lot lower number on that rehab number because you're doing everything yourself. Now, part of that equation was the materials that you're buying. And so one of the things you need to really watch out for is the quality of finishes. Now, everyone wants to make their home look perfect, HGTV-like, and that's great. But what you have to make sure you don't do is over-improve a house. Let's say you're in a neighborhood where the homes sell for about $300,000. They look really nice. They have engineered wood floors. They've got granite on the countertops, things like that. You wouldn't want to go into a place like that and all of a sudden put marble countertops and put solid hardwood floors, super fancy home automation systems, all that stuff that you think will push the home into a $400,000 price range. You never want to have that house that's either the nicest house in the block or the biggest house or the smallest house, anything like that. Like the easiest house to sell is the one that's kind of in the middle, something where there's a lot of comparables to and people are comfortable with paying for. So now that you've figured out how much your home will sell for after you fix it up, how much it's going to cost you to fix it up, now you can figure out how much you can pay for the property. So let's say your ARV, your after repair value, is $300,000. Now, if you sold it for $300,000 on the market, understand that first of all, you have to take off closing costs. A good rule of thumb for closing costs is to estimate about 7% of that price. You can just take it off the top, and that includes title fees, realtor fees, attorney fees, anything like that, and you'll get pretty close to that 7% number. So for that $300,000 house, if you take off $21,000, which is 7%, you end up with about $279,000. Now let's say it's going to cost you about $20,000 to renovate the property, take off another $20,000 off that, and you're at $259,000. So in this case, $259,000 in an ideal scenario would be your break-even point. So if you paid $259,000, you did exactly what you did, exactly what you're planning on in terms of rehab. Then you sold it for exactly what you thought you were going to do. You would completely break even. But you're not doing this to try to break even, right? That would be a whole lot of work for not a lot of money. So you're gonna look to get a little bit of profit margin in there. Now you may look for a little less, you may look for a little more. Let's say it's your very first project and you're just looking for a deal and just doing the thing, it has education value in itself. Maybe you're okay with only taking $5,000 in profit at the end of the day. So in that case, if we know 259 is our break even, you've paid in $5,000 for your profit, you can only pay $254,000 for the house. Now, what if you want a little more? What if you want to make $25,000 for the time that you're putting into this project? Then same thing, just subtract it from that break-even number and you'll come out with, let me see, $234. So you can pay $234 for the house, and if everything goes perfect, you'll make $25,000 at the end of the day. I hope this has given you a little bit of an idea of what you need to think about when you want to flip a house. These numbers I'm using are very simplistic. I want you to know that. If you're considering doing one of these in real life, and especially if it's your first or second project, anything like that, please just call me. I'm happy to sit down with you, go over numbers, go over some of the costs that you may not be thinking about, that you may not have included in your calculations, and that way we can get you a much better real world picture of what that project would look like for you. Of course, this is the first part in a series, and I will go over a real life scenario from one of our clients who recently did a quick little project, and you'll see how the numbers play out in real life. Thanks for joining me again. This is Greg Tran with the Gregory Group. If you have any questions about anything real estate related, please just reach out, contact me. I'd love to sit down with you for coffee or in our office for a little consultation. Thanks.